What is the most underrated, hardcore World War I game I've played? Well, it's called Azonzo. Welcome to the video, I'm CuddlyJay, and today we shall be having a look at the most underrated World War I game I've ever seen. Azonzo was published and developed by Blackmail Games, and basically you'll be fighting in the front lines of Azonzo from 1914 to 1918 in the snow, rain, and of course the very beautiful sunshine. But don't let this fool you. This game can sometimes be very brutal. Let's first go over the objective of this game. It's a simple attack or defend, depending on which side you are on. The maps are really well designed, showing you how hard some of these areas were to take in real life, basically to attack or defend. Now, the reason I bring this up is because many of the maps are actually created from real World War I photos from back in the day. They aren't 100% accurate, of course, but they basically took these photos and made maps as close to these photos as they could. Now, we did just have a really cool event recently called Ascent, and this was on the map called Marmalada, which honestly sounds like marmalade. It's kind of interesting. It's a 16 versus 16 map, and was really cool to experience. The defenders simply had to defend, shooting enemies downwards, and of course throwing down the occasional rock. The attackers, on the other hand, had to scale the mountain with picks, so basically climb the mountain to the top, capture all of the points, and eventually win the game. It shows you what some soldiers back in the day had to go through to win on this type of terrain, this mountainous, treacherous terrain indeed. Alright, so we need to talk about the other maps as well. This game has, at this very moment, 11 maps in total to play, so you do have a lot of content to get through. Each map has a defend and attack side, with attackers of course starting with 300 reinforcements. For the defenders to win, you must simply defend the points and ensure all the reinforcements reach 0. So basically just keep killing attackers until that 300 hits 0 and you will be victorious as the defense. Now for the attackers, you must plant bombs on certain areas on the map. Usually there is an area called A and B. You must go to both of these, blow them up, and once you blow them both up, you'll get all of your reinforcements back, and then you can move on to the next part of the map. You must do this though until you are victorious, and there have been many close games indeed. Another thing I really enjoy about this game is the respect many players have for each other. When a game is completed, most players will always say GG, good game, especially when it's a close one. The challenge is a lot of fun, especially when there are close games. It's just fun for both sides, even if you lose. It's hard to explain, it's just a fun game to play and experience. Let's discuss the classes in the game now, and also how leveling works in this game, as this might be a bit more confusing, especially if you're a brand new player to Azonzo. You yourself have levels, which I'm not too sure if there's an actual max level, like a cap on this, or if it just keeps going and going and going. I have seen other players up to level 138 while playing. I believe by leveling your profile up, you can unlock cosmetics for your character as well, so it is worthwhile. Now, you do have other classes to choose from, so let's get into those and discuss their individual ranks. Each class basically has a name, and then as you play that class, you will be able to level it up to level 20. This will of course unlock other items such as grenades, passive items that can, support your teammates, stuff like that. We have the officer class, which is the first class on the list, and this class is very interesting because you can call in support to assist the team on destroying the objectives or for defending the objectives. You can call in gas, you can call in smoke, you can call in artillery shells. It's really handy indeed, and there's some very good officers in this game that I have seen, and they are very good at using it. I am awful at using this class. my most, basically less played class in the entire game. Next we have the Rifleman, who simply has a rifle. That's pretty much it. And this is actually my personal favorite, especially when I have a grenade equipped. I just love lobbing grenades over and getting those kills. Now, the Rifleman will most likely be the class you play first. It was for me anyway. Over time, I just started to enjoy it more and more, and I actually appreciate the Rifleman, even though when I started this game, I did not. So it is a very good class. It's a simple one, nothing too complicated. Go in, shoot people, and throw grenades. Next, we have the Engineer, which is a really cool class to play. In this class, you can actually set up like barbed wire, sandbags, and just overall try to create more cover for your team. I just recently started playing this one, and I'm having a lot of fun with it. I just love setting up sandbags so my teammates can move up without getting shot. We then have the Assault class. So this is more of a machine gun class once you level up and unlock the machine gun. It's actually very deadly in the trenches and basically anywhere that is close quarters. I have been killed a lot by this character, class I should say, and it deals massive damage. Next we have the Mountaineer, which is another support class, in which you can use binoculars to spot your enemies and mark them for your teammates to start shooting them. Surprisingly, this is actually a really good support class, and I definitely need to use it more because it helps out the teammates a lot. And for the final class in the game, we of course have the Marksman, which uses the sniper rifle with the lovely scope. Now there is a limit to each class as it needs to be balanced, so when you do load in, you might not be able to play the class you want to play. For example, the Marksman is probably one of the harder classes to get, and sometimes the Officer can be quite difficult to get as well. But that's why you should probably become an all-rounder. Play all of the classes, get used to them all, so if your one isn't available, you can play another one. So this needs to be mentioned because I think the immersion needs to be talked about as well. This is more of a arcadey sort game, if that makes sense, but it's a super underrated World War I shooter called Azanzo, and I really want to just point out how some of the things they've added just make it more immersive. So let's just talk about the gas, for example. When gas is placed upon the map, you will have to put a gas mask on or you will choke to death. And the thing is, it's super realistic. You pull this off your belt and then you put it onto your head, and it also makes it very hard to see your enemies. It blocks a lot of your screen, and in the reality of things, this is how real gas masks work. You can't see out of them, as well as, like, if you have a mask off, you can see what you can see. If you have a mask on, it limits your vision a lot, and this game does it really well, where if your vision is limited, you're probably going to die pretty easily. The next thing is this, for say for example you're playing an officer and you want to blow your whistle, which is a command for that specific class. You can't do it when you have the mask on. This is a cool little feature. I didn't know about this until I tried it, because I was like, you know what, let's just give this a test for the video to see if it works, and it does. It just won't let you blow the whistle, and I like stuff like this. It's super immersive. It makes me feel like they actually put some thought and did their best to make a good game. The reason I'm pointing these out is because some people might say this is more of an arcadey type World War I game, but for me, I think it's pretty damn good. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of immersive things here. A lot of the maps are designed around actual World War I areas that they fought in by using photos from those times, which is super, super cool, and it's just a lot of fun to experience. Now, one thing I should mention about that is I do believe some of the maps are made smaller, so these, if you went to the actual real life locations, they would be a lot bigger, but they had to make them smaller because of gaming. They couldn't make it so, it takes you 15 minutes to walk across a specific field, for example. They had to cut down on some things to make it more game friendly, which I appreciate. Now let's talk about this game and how it does have free weekends every once in a while. keep an eye out for those. It basically just means you'll be able to download it for a weekend and give it a go and see if you enjoy it. It is also always, I'm going to be honest, it seems to always be on sale nearly every time there's like a summer sale or an autumn sale or a winter sale. There's just any sort of sale that comes up, it's usually on sale. So all you need to do is buy the base game, and then you will have access to all of the content. The cool thing about this game is how they do DLC, downloadable content. You can spend money on this game for add-ons, but all these add-ons do is give you cosmetic clothes. So you're basically just supporting the team and buying some, cosmetic clothes to look better and cooler in the game. I personally really like this business model, as there is no need to purchase this content at all. But if you want to support the game, you can. If you want to look cool, you can. But if you buy the base game, you're fine. You get all of the content already there. Overall, Isnt is a beautiful looking game that is hugely underrated. I've been playing this game with friends very recently, and I will continue to do so because we've been having a blast. I do play on the US servers mainly, as that seems to be the servers with the most players, sadly. But anyways, playing at 100 ping for me from the UK isn't actually a big deal for me, as I'm just used to it. I have many Canadian and American friends, so playing on 100 ping is just something that I personally am used to. And I should probably mention, even though I'm on 100 ping, it doesn't even feel like I'm on 100 ping. I'm still leaving matches with a lot of kills, having a lot of fun, and overall it's just really good. Now, all the classes are very enjoyable, and honestly, all of them have a purpose, which I also enjoy as well. I'm learning all of them as we speak, and it's cool how they can just change the front lines of war when used correctly. The one class that I really need to figure out how to use probably is the officer. I feel like that's the hardest out of all of them, and then the rest are pretty straightforward. I don't mind there being a limit on certain classes, as they do need to balance the game. Otherwise, it would just be a broken game with probably all officers or marksmen, snipers just running around killing each other. I also have to say my favorite class is always going to be the rifleman, it seems, because, I don't know, it's just basic. I can shoot with my rifle at all ranges, and it's fun. Anyways, what's your favorite class to play? I'd be very curious. And let me know if you have a lot of hours in this game as well. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in another. Cheerio, everyone.